Hello, and let's continue to the part 2 of direct and indirect narrations or sentences. Just a small recap that we learned about direct speech and indirect speech. Direct speech are those statements or narrations which are said by the original speaker, and indirect speech are those narrations. Um, Indirect speech is those narrations which are not said by the original speaker. Instead, it is being said by someone else. In fact, it is being said by the listener. So that is the difference between direct and indirect speech. In this part 2, we will learn about the rules to make a direct statement into indirect statement or narrations when we deal with pronouns or any of the four types of sentences. So let's dive in further. Pronoun. If you are making an indirect speech, then the pronoun is supposed to change according to the speaker, whether the speaker is referring to him or herself or a third person. For example, George said, I cannot be with you. Now, I and you both are pronouns. So you want to change this into indirect speech. So how is it supposed to transform? It would be George said that he cannot be with me. So I will change into he and you will change into me. So because George is saying something, so over there I represents George himself and you represents like the listener. So the listener will say me. So that's how it goes. Second one, I said, leave me. So the indirect speech is, I ordered to leave me alone. Leave me. So me, it is not changing in this case because I am saying something by myself. So that is why the pronoun me will not change. Same is the case with the third one. It's not the same case, but a similar to that of the first. For example, they said, we will be there at sharp 9. So what will be the indirect narration of this statement? It would be, they said that they would be here at sharp 9. So we changes to they and there changes to here. If you want to say like we will be there at sharp 9 and you would like to say they would be there at sharp 9, you don't want to change the word there, so it depends on the context. Okay, if you're saying that okay, it's a place which is not our home. For example, there are some guests who are not supposed to uh, come to my home, but we are supposed to meet somewhere else. So that somewhere else will be there. So this is how you are supposed to change the pronoun case from direct to indirect. Moving to the next slide, we will deal with the types of sentences. The first sentence is interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence, of course, the word interrogative gives a clue that it's all about questions. So there are basically two rules. Rule number one is that if there is a question which comprises of yes and no answering, in other words, if there is a yes no question in the reporting speech, then the reported speech will start with whether or if, and the reported clause form will be subject plus verb. For example, Peter said, are you from India? So, what will be the indirect? It will be Peter asked if I was from India. So, you can say we used if, and after this condition if, after this word if, we have subject I and verb was. Peter asked if I was from India. So this is how it works. Similarly, Tom asked, do they need a golden ticket? Tom asked whether they needed a golden ticket. So whether, and after that subject they needed, it's a verb. So this is how it works. And the second rule is that in indirect speech, questions that start with who, whom, when, how, where, and what. So if there is a question which starts with these words, so the WH word would be the subject or the object of the reported clause. For example, Brad asked, who will play with me? So the word who. So let's see whether it will be the subject or the object. Brad asked who would play with with him. Brad asked who would play with him. So here it's subject because Brad asked, this is one clause. Clause basically means subject plus verb. So this is one clause. Who would play with me? So there who is actually acting as a subject. In the next example we have, I asked the man, where is the hotel? So the indirect statement is, I asked the man where the hotel was. So I asked the man where the hotel was. So over there, where the hotel was, it's actually an object, direct object, because the statement will be I, subject, asked, verb, the man, indirect object, where the hotel was, direct object. So this is how it goes with interrogative sentences. There are two rules that you should once again look. If you feel that you need to just read slowly, you can pause the video. Moving further, we have declarative sentence. In declarative sentence, there is only one simple rule, and it's pretty easy. The rule is that we will use that before the reported speech, and the reported verb will be told, followed by an object, or I said, not followed by an object. So, for example, Adam said, I like this magazine. Okay, so what can be the indirect of this statement or narration? I made Adam said that he liked that magazine. So we have that, and after that, um, it's like he liked that magazine. So we are supposed to use that. So if we have something, if we had told or we had tell, then we would add told or tell. But in this case, we don't have any such word, so we just stick to that. But in the second example, we have something different. You see, Jenny said, I want you to sing. Okay, Jenny told me to sing. Now, in this case, you see the word told. Jenny told me to sing. So, told plus object. So, me is an object. We can also say that Jenny said that she wanted me to sing. So, that plus she, it's a subject. Same is the case in the first example. That plus he, it is the subject. So, that plus subject, that he liked that magazine. So this is the difference. But the point is, if you have the word told, then after the word told, there will be an object. But if it is that, then there will be a subject after the word that. This is the only rule of declarative sentence. The third type of sentence is imperative sentence. Imperative sentence. It again has only one rule. The rule is that we will use to as joining clause before the reported command or request, and the reported verb will be changed according to the moods of the sentence. So a reported verb will change according to the mood of the sentence, means we can figure it out, we can sense that whether the person is requesting or ordering or advising whatsoever. Let's look at some examples. The old man said, please bring me a chair. Now, if an old man says to bring a chair for him, so we can sense that he is actually requesting. So, therefore, we will write the old man requested to bring him a chair. So, requested, this is the reported verb, and to bring, to, it's a joining clause. Bring him a chair. So, again, a reported verb. So basically requested, we can figure it out whether the reported command, whether it's a reported command or a reported uh, request. But then we have the reported verb will change according to the statement or the mood of the sentence. So to bring him a chair, that's fine. The officer said, "Pull over." So basically we can sense that he is ordering. So we write, the officer ordered to pull over. Same goes with the third sentence. Mother said, "Listen to your elders." So actually when a mother says something, so mostly we believe that she advises. So therefore we say, mother advised to listen to my elders. A priest said, "Do not go near that house." So if a priest is saying not to go somewhere near to any particular place, so we can sense that he is a kind of admonishing or a kind of warning. So I came up with, a priest warned going near that house. So this is how it works with imperative sentence. Last is exclamatory sentence. This also has only one rule. The rule is that to make an indirect speech or to make indirect speeches, we need to replace interjections with joining clauses that, and the exclamatory WH word will be replaced by very before the adjective in the reported clause. Now basically it's a kind of complicated, a little bit of complicated, because there are so many things to consider. You need to consider interjections, you need to consider joining clauses, you need to consider exclamatory WH word, and the replacement of very before the adjective. So there's so many points. But no worries, examples make things more clear. So let's look at some examples. Jenny said, "Hurrah! Barcelona won the match." So the word hurrah. Now basically we are replacing the word hurrah. It's an interjection. So we will replace it with a joining clause. But we need to give the expression hurrah in the form of proper word. So what we will write, Jenny cheered that Barcelona had won the match. So this is how we will go with that. If we replace interjection, so we will replace interjection with one proper word which will express that interjection, and we will use that after that replaced interjection. Similarly, we have the second example. John said, "Alice, injustice still prevails." So basically he is expressing sadness or grief. So what I made John exclaimed with grief that injustice still prevails. So basically we are replacing the interjection Alice with this proper expression exclaimed with grief, and after that we are using the word that. So this is how it works. But what about, let's think of the word very and the word exclamatory WH word. What if we come across those two examples? So let's look how to work with those 2 points, exclamatory WH word and the word very. Matthew said, "What an awesome match to see." Now basically it's not a question, though the word what often it expresses question, but in this case it's not a question because we have an exclamation. We don't have question mark. So basically he's applauding, he's cheering, he's showing his joy. So what I came up with is, Matthew applauded that it was a very awesome match to see. So basically we are replacing the word what with the word very. So you would see that in indirect statement there is no word, no WH exclamation. I'm not using the word what. So this is how, because what is being expressed in this word applauded, and then we use the word very awesome to make a completion, to complete the feeling of what Matthew really saw awesome in that match. Similarly goes with the last. What is it? I said, how does he do it? So it's a kind of like questioning, but still it is something which doesn't ask directly, and it's also not asking indirectly. Instead, it's just showing a curiosity of myself. Okay, for example, if there is a magic trick which I see and I feel like, okay, I'm now curious to know how did it happen, and I'm not asking the magician to tell me or make me teach that how he did that magic trick. Instead, I'm just curious by myself and I'm trying to figure it out that how did he do that. So I would say, how does he do it? So how would I change it to indirect? I came up with, I uttered surprisingly that it was done very well. Now basically you can see that I have changed the color of this table, uh, the last example, because it's kind of not exactly the words are not exactly the same as we find in the above three examples, but I mean it's just an indirect way of saying something. It's not necessary that I have to uh, put exact words, because indirect narrations is not about exact words. It's just about exact meaning but with different words. So this is how you have to work with exclamatory sentence. So we are done with part 2. Remaining more will be taught in part 3. So guys, if you like this lecture, give it a like. If you have any doubt, you can share your doubts or questions in the comment section. Subscribe to my channel, give it a click the bell icon, and forward it to your friends and families. My channel, English Language Shelf. So see you in the next video. Take care, and pretty soon we will meet.